Last week, I entered my first ever game jam where the team was implementing AI as a mechanic within the game. Without any knowledge of game design, I took on this challenge and finished my first ever game within 48 hours. This is AI Game Jam 2023. At the very first hour of this challenge, I planned out a concept of a simple game with a simple base mechanic we can enhance using AI. At the very core, I wanted to make a strategy game with the element of rage to make the game really difficult. But knowing I only have 48 hours to work with, everything must be simplified to the core with simple artworks and programming. So the main idea I have concluded was creating a simple game that enables you to instruct a player and move it around with verbal commands. The challenge being that you need to plan out what you want to say it correctly, and hopes the character understands what you want to do. The game is designed to be a top-down strategy game, having the characters move in a finite amount of space. The objective of this game is to navigate around a map and collect objectives. The team was instructing an electrician through a dark area and fixing electrical boxes it needs to encounter, and the character's name is Michael. Yep, Michael. So, with that concept in mind, I feel like expanding it by creating artworks first because it was the most challenging for me. I'm going to be completely honest with you, I completely suck at making things look great. That's probably why I don't like to do front end. Designing this artwork is a pain because I had an ambitious vision in mind for this game, but I feel like my artistic capabilities was holding me back. In the end, I managed to get everything looking okay in a pixel art manner. I'm also not great with colors, so I used a limited palette to keep me restricted, but also following a clear guideline for consistent design. I wouldn't want to say much about the design process, I am clearly new to this. But I would say that Figma is a tool that I've used. Not only Figma for game design, but also web design and any design needs. I always end up using Figma. The other tools just seem so hard for me to grasp and master within this small time frame. I designed the characters, the buttons, the elements in this game, all using Figma. How great is that? Oh boy, here we go. In the search of a simple tool to use, I look over the option of using Unity, Love 2D, and Godot, but I end up using Pygame. Pygame. Why? Because I'm familiar with it. Honestly, planning the game and designing the asset took a quite lot of time for me, and now I just want to code in peace without going back into the documentation every step of the way. Programming this was a mess at first, but I managed to get everything in place. Here's a little schematic to get you understanding the main logic and abstraction of this game. Since the game was going to be a top-down and having a finite amount of space to be in, I think of it like being chess, planning a grid where the player can move around to. It simplifies input intake variably, as now the character can only move in certain directions. The map is just a 2D array filled with blocks resembling the image to be rendered. The player moves around the array as the block is being swapped in place over and over. Collision detection was also made simple, as we can just check whether the moving direction inhibits a block, and so on and so on. Now for the AI part of game development, I used OpenAI again as I found it was the cheapest option. I really try to experiment with other libraries, but going basic is sometimes all that you need to be efficient. I use Whisper for speech to text and GPT to convert text to movement data needed for my game to read. And so from there, I came to the conclusion that honestly, the hardest thing to approach with this was my limited understanding of how game cycles work and how to utilize my resources better to gain performance. But overall, I am quite happy with the result. The concept works, the design was unique, and the programming could be better. I'm happy with this and I'm ready to show the game to the world.
This is a day I've been looking forward to for 2.5 years.
After 48 hours of game jam, I introduce to you micromanagement, a game that teaches you management even to the dumbest of employees. Here's Michael, your star and only employee of this game. Michael is an electrician and you need to guide him around a maze to fix electrical boxes scattered within a map. You need to talk to Michael and make sure he understands your command or else you'll be fired. You can check out this game on itch and the source code will be up on GitHub if this gets like 10 likes? I'm not kidding, this channel is small so I'm happy with that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If this was entertaining for you, please consider to subscribe. It was certainly entertaining for me. I need friends. Thank you so much.